I am Negan.
I am Negan.
I am Negan.
What's up, friends? Welcome back to I Am Negan, a TWD Universe podcast, one of the longest, if not the longest running podcast, still covering The Walking Dead, people, and all the spin-offs, as you know. And here we are. This is for Daryl Dixon, Season 3, Episode 7, Contraband. My name is Adam Vale, Senior Editor over at the Koalition, also the TV Terminal here on YouTube, and I'm joined by Editor-in-Chief of the Koalition, Richard Bailey Jr.
What's up, Adam? What's up, listeners and viewers?
And Throwdown shows Carlos Romero. See, I can roll my R's, not like Carol. She can't roll her R's. Arrgh.
Yo, what's going on, everyone?
Oh, this is it, people. Just so you know, we watch the episode and then we quickly jump in and record so we have it all fresh in our brains. And that's how this works. So we just watched this episode. We didn't say anything about it. We're saving it all for the show. Is it as good as last week's? Maybe not so much, but man, the action sequence, the amount of time and work for the production of these sequences, top notch. It's up there with last week's. Maybe the story's not, it's wishy-washy, but when it comes to, again, a big epic battle, Daryl Dixon has the budget. That's what I'm saying. It's got the budget.
It's got the budget, it's got the action, it's got the kissing. We just got everything.
It's got everything. It's got subtitles, right? It's got everything.
Spanish, it's got English.
Exactly. This is everything. But you know what? Let's just get into it. Again, people, real quick, housekeeping. Thanks again for sticking with us all these years. We got some OGs, we got some new Gs. But thanks for everybody over on YouTube. Go ahead, put in a comment, like, subscribe, stick around with us. You know, we're still covering The Walking Dead. This got picked up for another season, and we still got Dead City. So when you're at the water cooler and you're telling people, I walked The Walking Dead, and they're like, that's dead. No, it's not, jabroni. There's plenty of more shows coming, and there's still a mystery spinoff, which we heard about, but we don't know. And you know what? We're recording this Friday night going into Saturday, and there's New York Comic Con, and usually AMC shows up, Walking Dead usually shows up, and maybe they'll make some kind of announcement. What do you think, Rich? We got some people out on the ground over there. I think Tony's over there. You think they're going to make an announcement to Walking Dead?
That's certainly possible. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But if we find out, we'll let you know. And if it is a legit show, we will be covering, because that's what we do until we start dying out, which eventually we will. And then this will all be run by our AI versions, just like Kiss. Kiss has an AI version that goes on tour, and that's what we'll do. There's self-driving cars, and then we could have self-driving podcast, YouTubers over here doing what we do. It'll be cool. It'll be like gorillas. Remember the gorillas? Yeah, they're still a thing, I think.
I ain't happening.
Exactly. You know, they put on the digital group and they do the shows for them and stuff. But then they still perform behind the screen, which is interesting. Pretty good. I don't know. But anyway, let's get into it. So it starts off already with a damn question. We see Daryl pulled over on the side of the road, filling up his motorcycle with gasoline. Where'd you get this gasoline, buddy? Did he have it already with him? I didn't see a canister on that bike when he drove off. Did I miss it? Am I already missing stuff?
I think the presumption is, it's Daryl Dixon. He'll find a way to do.
He'll find it. It's like a video game. It's like a Days Gone, where you just pull one out of your ass and it's like, poop, there you go. I got some gas. Just fill her up. But again, somebody before had said, hey, you nitpick about all. It's like, you know what? That's what we're here for. I mean, we're just like you guys. You're watching this. Don't tell me that you didn't see that. I'm like, damn, where do you get that gasoline? Where do you get it? I didn't see it on his back. But anyway, he's filling it up. Car's coming down the road. He takes out his gun. He's pointing. He's getting ready to blast away. And it's our girl, Cowgirl over here. They said her real name. I didn't like her real name. I'm calling her Cowgirl. And she walks around like she's a cowgirl. No horse this time. She's got a car. But hey, she wants to tag along. She can be useful. She says, hey, you need a tour guide to Barcelona. I'm from here. I know the roads. He doesn't even want to hear it. He's like, let's just go. I have a noisy bike. You have a noisy car. We're going to work great together as a team. Let's go. And then they drive off to Barcelona, roll the intro. What do you guys think right off the bat? This is how they combine the two together for this mission. I say whatever at this point. We knew it was going to happen, right? We knew she was going to go out there to help.
Well, she had. I mean, they made it clear she had motivations to go get Alcazar. So, yeah, I'm not surprised if this team up. I'm actually pretty happy that it happened because Daryl can't do everything by himself. I like the dynamics with other characters as well. It builds into the characters of the side characters, not just Daryl Dixon and Carol. You get to know others.
Oh yeah,
too.
Yeah. I love that he's always pissed off. He's just an angry guy. Like when you picture angry old men, he's like, oh, look at this angry old guy. Well, he wasn't always. Well, maybe he was. Maybe he was always an angry guy. And then you can picture Daryl, and then you can just envision him as an old person. I'm like, yeah, he was always angry. Man, I had a hard life. I still have visions of when my dad used to beat me and my brother. And we're in a spinoff, and I'm now having flashbacks of this still. I didn't understand that. It's got to be going somewhere with this, and we'll get to that. But I'm just bringing it up because I'm just ranting about Daryl as a character. But Rich, are you excited? Because we got some cool drone shots. More proof that they're really in Barcelona, right? Because it shows that nice drone shot. We see the statue of Jesus up on there. Shout out to my buddy Jesus from Queens. He was a good dude. We see the drone lowered down, and then it shows Daryl and Cowgirl hanging out. And then she gives she tries to give a backstory. He really doesn't care. But she's like, I have friends here. There's a refugee community. They can help. We don't need no help. Yeah, you do, buddy. I don't get it. We get the character, Mr. Badass over here. I can do everything, army of one. But when you start take a step back, and like realistically, yeah, you don't speak the language first off, right? You also, you got a semi-map, but come on now. At this point, you can't go based off of the roads. You don't really know where you're going. You agreed to have Cowgirl here. She's telling you some story, and he already wants to brush it off. I don't need nobody, but she goes into this whole little story about some friends or refugees, that she was looking for somebody. We know who that person is. He doesn't, but it's not like he would care anyway. And then he's like, enough of this talk. This walker's coming. And then, you know what? The walkers to me are like the circle that if you played Fortnite, which I do not, but my son does, and how it gets smaller and smaller, right? To keep you moving. That's what the walkers are in this show. You notice that? It's like when something's going on too long, whether they're at the beach or they're walking or driving around. You know what? Put the walkers, that'll get them to move. And sure enough, some walkers come out of nowhere, and it gets them to move. They're still wearing long coats and stuff. That bothers me. You're in a hot climate. I'm assuming you had some of these people wearing soccer jerseys, t-shirts, tank tops. Come on now. Let's show some arm. Let's show some neck. Let's show them like all the... Again, it's a lot of work with the makeup and stuff, but come on. Not everybody's walking around with winter coats and long pants. That's how they have them all dressed up in this case. But that's it. What did you guys think about this little backstory she was trying to give? Do you care? Do you not care? You're on Team Daryl. Just shut up. Let's keep going. Rich?
Well, I do agree with what Carlos said. I'm glad that they teamed them up together. We already knew from the previous episode she was going to go and find Daryl. After she asked Carol and them, she knew that's where he went. So, but yeah, I guess they just had this little side story to give further context as to why she was going back. The fact that she had a life before there in Barcelona, and she had some other friends. So I was okay with that. As for the motivations, yes, she is in a relationship with the other woman. So that is another reason why she wanted to go there, to try to get her back as well. So we will see if that happens.
And that other woman's got it good. If she really, that's what I got from this episode when it comes to their relationship. If she really wanted to be with Cowgirl, she could have got out of that car and ran over.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, no one was paying attention to her. No one cared. She could have escaped if she wanted to, but we'll get to that. But anyway, it's movie time with Antonio. You know, he's got his films. He's watching another one. At first, I thought, me and my sick mind over here. I'm like, great. He's watching other people's home videos because remember, he said that he would just go around and collect tapes, right? He would collect the reels and stuff for his movie theater, whatever he could find. You know, obviously it's a video of him, Roberto when he was young, and Maria, his late wife. But still, that would have been cool, right? If like he's watching stuff and Carol's like, "Is that your wife?" She's like, "Oh no, this is a family that lived down the street. They were so beautiful. Look at them, so beautiful." You know, that would have been great. But no, we can't put that creep factor on him just yet. So he's watching this video. It looks like good times. He gives his own little backstory, how he wanted to get into film, and he spent what is it, his birthday money or something on getting a camera. Parents thought he was stupid for it. The only person that supported him was Maria. And then I'm thinking, wait a minute, pause, scratch the record. Wait, you said you got this as a birthday money, right? You use your birthday money to get this camera, but I see you already with Maria and the boy. How old were you when you got this money for this? I'm sure they were trying to say that he's been filming since he was a child. That's where he's going. But just the way they cut it and they brought this up, it made it seem like, oh, I was a grown adult and I got some birthday money and I went and I spent this. And by the way, Maria's there and we already had a kid, you know. So this is my life. Thanks. And I film it all. You know, but Carol's enjoying movie time with him here, and so is the mayor. The mayor comes in, and he wants to see this, and no, he can't see Maria because Antonio shuts that off real quick. No, this is for mine and Carol's eyes only. So the mayor is like, all right, well, that's great and all, but what are you still doing here? And where's you know, the what you call it, Daryl? And that's when this dude walks in, a little buddy says, hey, we can talk outside. I got some answers already for you here, and then I'll get you guys to jump in on this one because and Daryl, and I was gonna call you Daryl, Rich. You brought this up too because
he looks like a Daryl.
He does look like a Daryl. You can work for it. We'll just call you D from now on. So we brought this up. It's been maybe 3 or 4 days now since that incident where Daryl took out those night guards. But anyway, the guy said, hey, I went down and there's no one there. There's no one there. But look what I found. Look what I found. Look. There's Tito, there's Bob, there's Mario. Just give him some names. He's just pointing out that their buddies are now part of that herd that they have of walkers. Surprise, surprise. It took a few days, but you would think that somebody would always check on them to see what they're doing, right? No one's watching them, but now we see it, and they look okay for the amount of time that they've been converted to the undead. Yeah, you can still recognize their face. I didn't see much of the skin peeling and all that. You know, you want them to look gruesome. They didn't look like gruesome. They had some contacts in, and they had some snarly breath. That's pretty much it. But what did you think of all this? Like, we're still trying to figure out, right, the situation. And I think, again, back to you, Rich, because you're saying that this is just a love triangle with Maria in the middle with the mayor and Antonio. But no one's saying it. And the funny thing is Carol's not asking, which is funny because she wants to know everything. She's asking all kinds of questions, but she's not asking anything about this. So what did you think of all of this?
Well, I think this is all leading to an inevitable showdown between Fede, aka the mayor, and you know, you said Roberto.
Yeah,
Antonio
is the dad. Roberto is the son. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Antonio and Fede, they're probably going to have some type of showdown in the finale. Yeah, because they always, obviously they had a scene where he is approached by his mom, and she's talking about, you need somebody, you're handsome. You know, he said, oh no, I got you, mom. But then he takes that picture out of Maria and looks at the picture. So they are implying that, yes, this clearly maybe he was also in love with her and she decided to choose Antonio instead of him. So maybe he's still dealing with that. I would assume, though, we're going to find out in the next episode because they have some tension that has to be resolved. Oh
then,
yeah,
then it's a finale. Also, we better get that answer.
or unless they save it for the last season,
Season 4.
but we'll see. Hopefully not. I don't want no cliffhanger on that particular thing, but we'll see what happens.
I don't think they're going to stick around this town for another season. I don't see that.
Well, we're sticking around in Spain for the next season.
You think so?
I think it's because I mean it's only one. What is it? One episode left?
Yeah, one episode left.
Left. And I feel like I don't know if they can tie all of this up in one episode. I could be wrong, but it feels like it feels like there's still a lot left to resolve in this whole thing. Maybe I could be wrong, but it doesn't make sense that this spinoff would end with them leaving. And I don't know if they're gonna have more shenanigans in the Atlantic or in the US when they get there for the next season. So I feel like this is gonna be continuing to the next. Maybe the Fede thing is gonna resolve here, and then it's just gonna be like, oh, now we're in all-out war against the Alcazar, so maybe that's gonna happen. But we'll see.
We'll see. What we won't see is a shower scene with Antonio and Carol. That's what we won't see here, because Antonio he's out there, he's taking a shower. Carol walks over and is like, "Oh, I'm sorry." She was looking for tools, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I need to take a shower." Shout out to Antonio for even taking a shower. I can't remember the last time I saw anyone care about taking a shower in The Walking Dead. Go ahead in the comments if you remember. When did you last see someone take a shower in The Walking Dead? I mean, did they even care? We always talk about how bad most of them should smell. Everyone should be smelling like they're dead already. The whole thing of putting guts and stuff, that should be a thing of the past, because you're already wearing super dirty clothes. No one's washing anything. You should be stinking to the point that, you smell like you are dead. So when you said, hold on, what, you got a memory?
Yeah, I could have swore that, Rick has taken some showers, and they wanted to emphasize, I could have swore he had a romantic encounter with Michonne on their show. They also were taking showers. So there are characters that
was on the base. That was on the base, and then there was one with the bunker. But I mean, like, just out in the wild, like Alexandria.
Oh yeah,
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen that. No,
I don't remember ever seeing that. I definitely didn't see any of that happening in the Hilltop. That never got brought up. The Saviors, no, I'm sure they had shower rooms. It's not that I need to see everybody walking around with a little towel around their waist, but it would be nice to know that they are keeping up with that hygiene aspect there, because whatever. But that doesn't happen. But then we do get another scene with Carol and Valentina, right? That's her name, Valentina, the boat lady. That's what we were calling, and she's still asking.
Yes.
She was still asking, was like, "Hey, have you tasted the local wine?" And at first when I heard it, I got the dirtiest mind. I'm dirty bird. Because you think of wine, you think of liquid. I'm like, yo, why is she saying this stuff? But I get what she's trying to say. But she's like, no, I'm not doing that. Why is she not? I don't understand. This is apocalypse. Right? I mean, how many options do you have? Maybe enough on one hand. Maybe you take what you can get. If this show wanted to throw some real curveballs, I mean, they're doing a lot with other parts, so you can't really be knocking them for certain things. But man, when he said, "Oh no, wait," because he said you can take a shower. Remember, he was like, "Oh yeah, you can take a shower," but I mean, not when I'm in here. But I mean, he should have just been like, "Hey, you know what? This is how we roll. We have to conserve water."
This is Europe, baby.
This is Europe. Times are hard, and we show nudity on TV when we used to have TV. Listen, just come on in here. Let's we're adults. We can do this. Let's take a shower. Let's keep fresh. And it would have been cool if she's like, yeah, why not? And then cut, and then show her in that scene with Carol with Valentina, and have her say, "Hey, have you tried the local wine?" Would have been great. I would have been all for it. They want talking points. They want people talking about this show. That scene, if it played out the way I just mentioned, would have had the world on fire in the Walking Dead universe, at least. They would have been like, shoot, that was ballsy. Because right now, the most ballsy thing with Carol is look at the flowers. Remember that? That was it. That always comes up. You got something to say to somebody? Look at the flowers. Look at the flowers. That was it. She was cutthroat. So that's why for a while they had her playing oh man, I'm blanking on her name from Sarah Connor. She was a Sarah Connor of The Walking Dead for a while. Remember? She was teaching everybody how to use guns and she was fighting. She was setting up traps and all this stuff. Not saying she's not a badass now, but it would have been cool to just see that other aggressive part of her come out. But anyway, the boat lady thing gives her that little line. Of course, she calls her dirty bird, the whole thing, but then gives her a book and basically saying, hey, you need to learn the language. You need to learn. And then starts pointing out some stuff. And I was like, all right, this plants a seed for you, Rich, because remember you were like, oh, she picked up that Spanish real quick. Well, the show, at least in this episode, sprinkled, I think, 2 more parts with her messing around with the little translation book. So just trying to imply like, hey, she's figuring this out. She's figuring this out. Now, what we don't know is the amount of time. I'm assuming this is all happening in one day, right? At least for this part. We do know there's a day-night cycle later on when Roberto gets the meds and stuff, but I'm assuming all this is happening within one day. So I think that was pretty much it. Yeah, and then I think that was the whole thing where we get you brought it up with the mayor and the mom, and we find out Roberto's getting with the whole sickness and all that stuff, and we see the picture. He touches the picture, act all creepy like. Move on, man. Like that's my argument with all of this. Person died. It's not like she's still with the Antonio and you're like, damn, I'm gonna win her back one day. I know I can do this. No, she's gone, and she's super gone because she's a walker gone. Right?
Do we know that? Oh yeah, she's definitely a walker gone. But do we know? I feel like it's still not settled whether the mayor had a thing for her or what that dynamic was.
We don't know. No, we don't. That's the whole argument. We don't know, and Carol doesn't even ask. We don't.
I thought it was going to be cleared up in this episode with the flashback and everything.
Oh no. They teased it. They did that tease, and we'll get to that when he says, "Oh, I can't leave. I'll show you why. I'll show you." And the first thing I thought of, oh, Walking Dead season 2, the governor, with the what was it? It was his daughter, his wife, someone that was locked in there. Remember, he still had him. I think it was the daughter, right?
Yeah,
but. Yeah, and I was like, oh, this is it. Same situation. You're going to have the mom there, and that's why he can't leave, because he can't leave her. And you know what? That still might be the case because we don't know. Now that I think about that, that could very well still be a case. She could be in the basement somewhere. Shout out to Evil Dead. Remember the girl, the girlfriend, the friend? I locked her up in the basement. She got demonized. Classic movie. Watch that after you watch our coverage, people. That's a good one. The original, not the remake. Well, the remake's not that bad either, but the original's always good. All right, so we get Daryl and Carol back now. I mean, now it's Daryl and Carol. Daryl and Cowgirl, and they're over at what she thinks is the location of her friend. She was like, I don't know. She gets on top of one of the vehicles there. It should be around here. And oh no, they're swarmed, right? Walkers for days. They're using their knives, they're stabbing them in the head. There's no longer a fear of them biting them for some reason. It's like close combat, right? They're just taking them out. But wait a minute, there's just too many. What are you gonna do? That's it. The show's over. They're gonna die. No, they're not. Right? Gates open up. The refugee girls that are here come out, start helping. One of them has a crossbow. Daryl then punches her in the face, takes the crossbow. No, that doesn't happen, but that he was thinking it, and he even said it after they get saved from the whole thing. He's like, nice crossbow. And I was waiting for him to say, want to trade, and give her like a knife full of like walker guts dripping on it. Come on, these people, there's comic writers behind this. You just got to show a nice good scene, a close-up shot, like all this gut stuff dripping down from it. Okay, let me get that crossbow. Oh man, but I'm disappointed he never gets his crossbow. That's I don't get that. But the cool
that's
thing,
the most reusable weapon.
The crossbow.
Yeah.
Well, for Daryl, because he's good at retrieving his arrows. I feel like right now, like from this scene, I didn't see her say, all right, hold on, and go run out there to go get her arrows. Now, granted, she could have made a whole bunch of them and they could be back at the base and she doesn't care. But remember that Daryl was good with that. He would shoot and then he would run over and pick them up, and then reload and just keep going with it. It's like, all right, that's that works. He knows how this works out, But we see that once they close the gates, that Cowgirl's friend that she said was in charge of this refugee camp, hey, she's still there and she's still in charge. And they embrace, they hug, they're friends, and Daryl's happy. And of course, he's got that eye on that crossbow. It's like, man, you got an extra? Can you give me one? Hook me up. I need to kill. I don't know. But who was it that said it? I think, Rich, you said it. It's like, oh, these are the people that are going to die. Right? That was it.
Oh, yeah. Anytime you see they introduce some side characters and there's about to be some type of showdown, this is who is going to be taking the place of a character such as Daryl, or in this case, also the cowgirl, because clearly they aren't going to kill off those characters. At least Daryl won't be killed, but we'll see what happens to the cowgirl as the show continues. But Daryl, no, this is the main character of the show. Nothing's going to happen to him or Carol. So
this show has been nailing it for me. I love it. I love the set design. I love the action. We've talked about it, but I would like surprises, some serious surprises, and it would be great if in one episode, it's too late now, but in one episode, let's say he meets a whole group of people. I want them all to die. Real quick, just like, oh, wow, all right, we got a whole crew. Yeah, come on, let's get in the truck. And then all of a sudden, like, they all die or something like that, or somebody converts or something. That would be a big surprise. Or like what I just said, the whole thing with the Carol jumping in the shower with Antonio. Big surprise, big surprise. Just throw some of those in. Just sprinkle them in. Doesn't have to be everyone. Just balls to the wall. Come on, this surprises. But whatever. We do get some other people that we're thinking maybe are on the chopping block here. We got introduced to Caleb, right? That's his name, Caleb. Right? He's one of the other guys there. He has his own backstory. He's lost somebody. Talks to cowgirl. How's that? Yeah. She's lost somebody. She's looking for somebody. He's like, all right, whatever. Who's this one? She's like, oh, he's a friend. He comes from a far off land. You know what? Everyone knows where America is. You could say that, and I don't think he would be like, where's America? You know what I mean? It's like, just say it. It's clear as day once he opens his mouth where he's from. He can't hide it. It's like me opening up my mouth and my Brooklynese comes out, and they're like, oh, whoa, what are you doing here?
Well, you sound like you're from Cleveland.
Holy shit. I can't tell you how many times people, once I start talking, they're like, whoa, that's heavy. Whoa. And my wife doesn't get it. She's like, I don't hear it anymore. I was like, yeah, you've been around me for over a decade. I was like, but everybody else, they hear it. It's even at my jobs. Like, someone's looking for me, and let's say they didn't get my name, whatever, they'll call them. It's like, oh, the guy with that heavy New York accent. I was like, oh, okay, we know who that is. So I don't know. Put in the comments, do I really have that heavy of an accent? But apparently I do.
Oh, yeah, you do.
You see, there you go. So it is what it is. But that's what I'm saying. What the whole point is that with Daryl, it's like when Cowgirl introduces him, it's like, oh yeah, he's from a far off land. Caleb's like, oh, we're all from far off land. Everything's far off. I was like, well, whatever. You could have just said America, but I was waiting for Daryl to say something, like to say exactly where he's from. It was Georgia, right? What that? I'm pretty sure that's where he's from. Him and Merle, right? It was Georgia.
Yeah.
Well, because that's where they met. Because I was thinking back. Because there was a flashback, and I was like, bringing up his brother, and I was like, well, I know that they met up with Rick and all of them in that area, but they could have been traveling from somewhere else. And I was like, shoot, man, maybe that's why they keep bringing up Ohio. Are they from Ohio? Is he just trying to get home? And I missed that all these years. Is this one of those Mandela effect type of things? It's like, no, he was never from there. When did he ever say he was from Georgia? That's where he met up with everyone, but he's not from there. No, I'm assuming that's where he's from, though. Shout out to Georgia. We know some people in Georgia. All right. Everybody actually in The Walking Dead is from Georgia, right? That's where they film. All right. Shout out to them. Did you think he was going to die, Caleb? I think you did. Rich and Carlos, right? You thought this dude was going to die.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I thought a lot of the other characters in that group would die, but surprisingly, they weren't the ones that died. So that is a surprise. Yes.
And Rich is pretty upset about that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was with Rich. I'm like, Yeah, there's a lot of characters that are going to join the fight. Yeah, a lot of them are going to bite the dust. So this just depends on which ones are going to be left over.
They should all bite the dust. I mean, at this point, let the bodies hit the floor. Play that track. Don't just let it go.
Bodies hit the floor.
Let it go. Speaking of bodies hitting the floor, we got Carol and Antonio. Can they hit the floor up in the car here and get this party started? Valentina she's waiting for this to happen, but it's not happening. Again, she's looking at that book, right? She's looking at the translation book. He's pointing something out, talking about life and saying that something, just trying to crack jokes or whatever about life and stuff. But the main part here is we find out that Roberto's not doing so great. They go to check up on him, and the mom is like, no, he's real sick. I'm like, oh, he was fine the other day. He was getting better. And I was like, oh, no, I don't know what happened. He's things are getting bad. He needs real meds. And Carol, what did she say? Tea and prayers aren't going to help him. And I was like, shoot, you're right. But is that really all they were doing? If they were, then this is like medieval times type of shit. Come on. I thought didn't they say that we're going to go get herbs and stuff? Wasn't that the whole other scene before last episode? Remember we had to go out there to the oh man, where was it? They had to go somewhere, and that's when they ran across some walkers or whatever. But they had to get herbs. I guess it was just for the tea. And make some that sucks if that's what it was. But the worst part is that we find out when they go to tell this to the mayor is that he has a bunch of meds. He's got meds for days. He's like, it just so happens to be right behind him. What do you know? But he doesn't want to share. Roberto, he's not really part of the community anymore. He let them down. He put them all in danger. Therefore, that voids out his rights for meds. That sucks to even bring that up. I mean, your mom is over there trying to take care of him. Got Antonio, whole thing. Carol mouths off. Maria's like, you can't threaten me. You threatened me. She should have. Carol of old would have said, yes, I'm threatening you. But no, she backs down. She doesn't want to say that. They flip flop on her character arc, I should say, because like I brought up before, some seasons she's just ultra badass, and then others she's more passive. In this one, we had one, remember, where she couldn't even sleep and she was all delirious for most of the season. But then now here we're not getting that version. We're not getting the aggressive one. We're getting like, I want to help, but then sort of like take a back seat. Don't want to get too involved and get my hands dirty. I don't know. I'm not used to this one. I don't like this version of Carol. I feel Carol would have hit back with another line here. It's something to really piss him off, but she doesn't. And he was like, hey, you don't even belong here. You can leave. And so was like, she's my guest. And as long as she's my guest, and well, whatever she does, you're responsible, blah, 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 blah. Get the hell out of here. Get out of here. And then, right, they get out of here. But one of the things I didn't mention, but people that watch the show, maybe they missed it because all the subtitles and they're playing on their phone, is that Antonio had sent his mom. There was a woman that was having a baby or something like that, and sent the mom to go do that. And he said he would take care or get someone to take care of Roberto. And this is a big thing to bring up because once there was that scene where we see Roberto getting really sick and all that, the camera pans over to the side and we see the cat licking the tea, right? And that they did that for a reason. There we go. Well, now we pretty much know what's going on here. But what we don't know, and this is frustrating as hell, we don't know why. We don't know why. And I swear, Richard, the more I talk about this and I start thinking about this, it better be more than a love triangle. I don't want this to find up like, oh yeah, he was dating her first in high school and then he dumped her for me because I got a camera and she wanted to be an actress. I don't want some cheesy shit like that. I want something legit. I don't know what it could be. Probably by the end of this episode, I'll figure some shit out. But it just can't be that. But then again, Carol's not even asking. No one seems to care. What's the reason? Because I don't know. What do you think? What do you think of that? Is that okay? That makes sense? You're okay with this just being a love triangle and that he's willing to kill Roberto?
Well, they have to explain it. Whatever it is a personal issue between those two characters. So just like as he told Carol at the end of this episode, go ahead, Carol, this doesn't concern you. that's why I said I want to see what happens in the next episode. I feel like there's going to be some type of explanation for that. But I personally think it's a situation where obviously the mayor has feelings for Maria, and instead she chose Antonio. He has not gotten over that. So now this is why he decided to drown himself in his work. You know, you heard his mom mention to him, all you do is work. So I think that is a reason for that. But yeah, they have to explain more.
I was waiting for mom to say, hey, we could do a pig race for you and get you a woman too. There was, there's others that didn't win, and we could throw one your way, Let's help you out.
That's a great point, by the way. I'm glad, Rich. That's why you're on this show. You bring up the good points.
Damn right. I'm gonna give you a like just for that. Here, I just clicked the like button.
Subscribe for this. That's right. I mean, they did. The mom mentioned to the mayor, he's like, "You should find someone for yourself." He's like, "Oh, I'm too busy." So I think what they're implying there is that he was in love with Maria the whole time, and when she died, he pretty much gave he just gave away with all that stuff. So maybe that's what they're implying, and maybe that's what we're trying to read into.
It popped up in my head. I thought I was going to come with they were having an affair. That's all I can think of. That was it. They were having an affair.
Was that videotaped?
Maybe. No. It couldn't, because Antonio wasn't there. If he was, he would have filmed it. But maybe. Actually, no. Maybe he did film it. That's how he found out. He was like peeking through windows, filming stuff, and he's like, "Wait, look at this! Oh man, Mary getting crazy! Oh, look at that! Oh, her legs up! Oh my Lord, Maria!" But that's what I'm thinking now. Maybe that was it. There was an affair going on, and that's why. And maybe Antonio doesn't know about the affair, because he doesn't really bring up anything any reason regarding Maria for the mayor. He understands he's pissed about the son, but he didn't say, "Oh, you're doing this out of spite because of Maria." He doesn't bring it up. So I'm thinking that that's what's going on. And then, of course, the mayor hasn't said anything to Antonio about Maria. So either he had a candle, out for her, or they had an affair. And when she died, he couldn't believe it, and he blames him for it.
Yeah,
maybe that's it. But we got Cowgirl, we got Daryl, we got everybody over there, the refugees, coming up with a plan, trying to figure things out, because they say, "Hey, what's the plan? What are we doing here?" It's like, all right, well, we have to go and then save these girls, right? There's two. There's Justina, and then Cowgirl wants to save her former girlfriend, who's now married to the future king of Spain, who really doesn't look like she wants to be saved anyway. But anyway,
technically there's three.
There was another one. Yeah, there was the other one. The original girl that got pushed over. Was that the niece? That was the niece. I think so.
She was the daughter of the one lady. I forgot her name, but yeah, it was the one that originally got picked.
Let me see there, and we find out 2 days. 2 days is the next pig race that does the selection, and that they're off to another town to do that. So I guess this is something they do every year. Like, we knew they went there, but I didn't know they did the rounds. So I'm assuming every year they go to all these other towns, do the pig race, collect all these girls, and then bring them back to HQ, and then marry them off to captains or whoever. Maybe that's the promotion, right? You get promoted, you get a wife. That's how they do it. So they're like, all right, we're going to go there. But while they're talking about this, we get almost like one of those little setup scenes where they look at a map and they're trying to figure things out. And then they see a scope and they're like, all right, well, there's one path in and there's a lot of guards. There's walkers on the other side. There's all kinds of stuff. But I was like, hey, we're going to have to pick them off. All right, we can't just go in guns blazing. It's not going to work that way. So I think that sort of makes sense. And how they want to come up with all this with a plan and then get this done. But it also made it seem like they're kind of close. I can't. That's my gripe. If people have been watching this show, our coverage for all these years, is the lack of showing a map and discussing distance between locations. Because 1 minute they're talking about this, the next minute still daylight. All right, if we want to go based off the sun, it's not a different day. It's still the same day. And they're just hanging out over a cliff and they're looking over and they could see everything clear as day. They're like, oh wow, you're really not that far. Your refugee camp is right next to this town over here. So it actually works out. So maybe Daryl was right. We don't need help. We'll find it ourselves because look how close we were. But let's see here. We get this weird flashback. That's what I actually wrote down. Weird flashback. Daryl as a kid. What is up with these flashbacks? Showing Meryl and saying, "Oh, get out of here!" You hear the dad screaming in the back or whatever, and I guess he's drunk. He's gonna beat on one of them, and Meryl is Meryl is gonna take the beating for Daryl. So just get out of here. And then he wakes up. What do you think? Before we get into what happened with Carol, with Cowgirl? What do you think is this reason? Why are they throwing this now, all these years later?
You gotta, I guess, just trying to get the character to be more interesting. They've pretty much done everything with Carol. He's gotten lovers in the show. He's gotten his Ricks. He's done everything: crossbows and guns and espionage and tracking. I mean, they got to find another wrinkle.
I agree. It's just been so long, and to sprinkle this in, maybe if there was a kid involved, maybe there was like, oh, he had to save a kid. Let's replace Justina with the little boy, little girl, whatever, and then he thinks of when he was a kid. Then it makes sense, but I don't. It just feels like it's coming out of nowhere. But they're showing us for a reason. So yeah, you're saying to add another element to the character, but what's the end game for it? What happens?
We gotta stay tuned to find out.
Right, gotta stay tuned. Here we go. Same bad channel, just same bad time. Here we go. But you know what? He can't sleep. He gets up. He walks around. You know who else can't sleep? Cowgirl, because she's over there sharpening her knife by the fire. I'm telling you, some of these scenes look like you could just envision them in a comic. Just frame by frame. I could just see turning the page and seeing the double wide and just seeing a big flame and the cowgirl with her feet up, just carving out and after looking like you can't sleep, that type of thing. And he can't sleep. And what was it? He cracked up. He's like, what was it? Rainbows and bunnies or something like that. He's like, what do you mean? I got rainbows and no nightmares. And everything is good. Peachy creamy. It's great. He's having a hard life. And then she talks about all her stuff. She talks about the girlfriend. We get more backstory with that. They were happy before the fall. Everything was great. And then it fell apart. And then she was gone. And Cowgirl was like, you know what? Forget it. I'll just live my life in this town. And everything was fine until that king, the Mayor King, showed up with her at his side, and that's when it triggered. And then seeing how Roberto and Justina and their love and the way Roberto was willing to go after her, and she's like, man, maybe I should be that aggressive. Maybe I should go out and try to do something more for the person that I love. And I'm thinking, she doesn't love you as much as you love her then, because she's had multiple opportunities, this lady, to leave this Spanish king, and she, another one popped up here, and she doesn't. And I don't think it's out of fear. I think she's got the life. She's got the life. And we always hear about this, right? It's like, especially when it comes to royalty or people that are with power and stuff. Do you marry for love, or do you marry because of convenience and situation and those type of things, societal progression? And most of the time they tell you, it's for the latter, because love, what's love? Love can't put food on the table and pay your bills. So if you marry somebody of wealth, man or woman, doesn't matter.
Mama.
It's sugar mama. There you go. At least you're taken care of. If you have kids, they're taken care of. So this is, in my mind, this is what I'm thinking is going on with this chick, because it's like, I don't think she really wants to be with Cowgirl. She had that opportunity a few episodes back, right, when they were in bed messing around again. She'll mess with her. She'll do the fling thing, but she's already decided on where she wants to go.
Yeah, but I mean, if she decides to leave, then she puts everyone's lives in danger. So
that too.
It's not like she's like, okay, let's leave, and then leave everyone else to get the wrath of the entire Alcazar.
Yeah, I mean, Cowgirl even brings it up. She was like, "Oh, she's a princess now." That's her words. She knows it. So we could already apply that context to all of this. Yes, she married a king. She's a princess. You're going to give all that up, especially during the apocalypse when people are struggling for carrots and food and avoiding walkers, or having a parent or somebody die on you and then turn into a walker and bite you in your sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a hard life. Right? It's a hard life.
It's a hard knock life.
It's a hard life. Rich, are you okay with all this stuff? Are you interested in this side story? Because that is another side story here. The love story between Cowgirl and the princess. Do you care? Do you not care?
Well, I personally don't care. Obviously, yeah, everybody, you know, we knew that this relationship was going to be one of the main things that we're going to focus on with this show, because these two characters, you've seen it from the start of the show, the back and forth. I do agree that I guess she decided she didn't want to leave the van when there was an opportunity to do so. But I think it's ridiculous that a lot of other people now are starting to get taken out because of this relationship. Like, you know, Cowgirl's friend. I was not, you know, clearly that happened very quickly. And then when she got bit, the Cowgirl, it's like she just completely ignored all of that. We're still fighting. So that was like, okay, that's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Kind of crazy. Right before we get out of this little scene here, though, she does ask a question to Daryl. It's like, what are you doing this for? What are you finding? You know, did you lose anybody? He's like, I lost a lot of people. Cut. That's it. That was it. It was like, really? We're not going to throw a splash screen of Connie or Isabella, most recent, or what was it, the chick with the dog, June or Jan, remember, in the cabin? You know, he's had a few loves. Hell, just throw up Rick. That was like a brother to him. You know, just throw some, you know, splash screens. Boom, 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 real quick. I was like, yeah, I lost a few people. No, he just says, yeah, I lost a lot of people. Okay, next scene, everybody. You know, and then that's it. And then we're back with Carol, you know, and she's out there with Antonio. She walks outside, and what does she see? Dead cat. Dead cat. Now she's putting two and two together. She's like, oh, something's not right here. Right, she goes sneaking around. You see some guards talking smack. Wait for them to pass. She climbs into the window. I could have swore the mayor's office was upstairs. I don't remember seeing her go upstairs. I see her just crawling through a window, and right there, she's in the office. Right, that's how it looked. But she goes. She finds a key. She opens up the cabinet. She's about to get some meds. She sees the chain with the compass. That's what Roberto gave to Justina. So now she knows that the mayor knows that the story that they told was BS, that they definitely made contact. But before she could even react in shock, she hears a click, click. She looks. Mom is there pointing a gun, about to blast her brains. She shoots her. Carol dies. Now one character dead. We go back to Daryl. See, again, that's not happening, but that would be crazy if they did. What if AMC did something like Black Mirror? Remember when Black Mirror did that one season where it had multiple paths that you can take, like choose your own adventure? And you can pick and you can create your own. It was like, hey, press A, B, this and this and that, and get the scene that you want and tell your own story. That would be fantastic if they did that for one of these seasons or even one episode. It's a lot of work, but if they did it for one episode, I would get a kick out of it. You know, it's like, oh, does she shoot her? Does she not? You know, does she duck under? Whatever. She doesn't. Carol really worked on her Spanish, as we saw in the prior two a few scenes.
The Rosetta Stone.
Rosetta Stone kicked in. It's a lifetime membership now, so she picked
Duolingo,
it up.
Hooked on
Duolingo, Hooked on Funny, work for me. Yep, there we go. Now you can't say that; you'll get in trouble. But that shit was funny, and that was on TV. So she's pointing the gun. She's like, "Hey, no, listen, Roberto, Medicina, Sicko, Dedo." You know, she's saying her broken Spanish. Point is just saying, hey, he was poisoned and that your son did this. The mayor knows. No, my son, good boy. No, he would never. Yeah, he would. He's a prick. He did do this, and this is what's going on. He needs the medicine. We won't keep him alive. Mom's like, you know what, fine, I believe you. She gives her the meds. Say, hey, get out of here. Go be somebody. Take care of this little boy. And she heads out. Do you really think that the mom is in disbelief. I mean, come on now. We've seen some of the things that the son does for the village and all this stuff. We don't know, like we've just said, we don't know his hatred for Antonio, and clearly it's related to Maria, but man, that definitely applies over to Roberto. Like now that he knows that whole thing about with Justina, he's willing to let this guy die. Just wants to kill him. Does this make sense?
Well, it seems like, I don't know, the motivation with the mom is complicated. I don't know why she immediately gave away. Maybe she's like, man, you really worked on your Spanish. I gotta trust you.
Right, exactly. It's like, you're speaking my native tongue.
But they see, I mean, she knew something was off anyways. I mean, when Fede told her to, look after the pregnant, or the one that just gave birth, instead of Roberto, then it's like, yeah, something's fishy. You gave Roberto the fishy a nurse. So I think that's the way that they're justifying it. Yeah. Did Carol give the necklace back to them, or how
To
did that work?
Roberto? No, I think she still has it. I don't remember her giving it to Roberto. No, she gave him meds. I don't think they had that conversation because
Yeah.
we'll just get into it now because it's now the next day, and that we do know because she wakes up at the dead giveaway when you wake up, right? So she wakes up and Antonio walks in and says, "Oh, the meds are working. Roberto's doing great. He's about to do some crunches and shit. He's working out, got squats. He's doing good. Everything's good. Thanks. I love you. Things are great." And she was like, "Yeah, that's great and all, but we gotta leave. We can't stay here. Valentina has invited all of us to go stay with her at the lighthouse, and then after that, we're gonna get on the boat whenever my buddy comes back to fix that damn boat, and then we're off to America. Where the grass is green and the girls are pretty." He doesn't want to go. He keeps saying the same thing. I can't leave. You don't understand. Yeah, no, we don't. We don't understand. None of us understand. But he says, "I can show you." Man, we were excited, right? When this happened, oh, you're going to show us. What were you expecting? I think we were all expecting what I just brought up before, that Maria is a walker in the basement somewhere, and he just can't let her go. Just like the mayor can't let her go, Antonio can't let her go. But no, that's not what we get. We get movie time again, back at the cinema, and this time it's another video, home video type setup. He says, "Oh, I was making a documentary. There was a protest. Maria didn't want to be at the rally, and I kept pushing her, and then a car pulled up, and he kept pushing her to knock on the window, to ask the hard questions. He's filming, and she's knocking, and then boom, explosion, car bomb." And I think this is when Carlos, you brought it up. It was like, "Yo, this dude is trying to win some awards here," because he puts the camera down, and it's perfectly lined up at Maria's body, and then we see Antonio lean over, and he's like, console, "Oh, Maria," doing the whole thing, and the camera's still rolling. That was some scene right there. This dude, shout out to him and his film work. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say I have a serious issue with that particular scene, because I feel like when something, this is someone you obviously care about. Obviously, something happened that impacted you both, because he also got hurt in this explosion. At that point, you stop filming, and I think them showing him continue to film and show he's there checking on her. This guy is obsessed with, because I mean, that's like, if you have all these bad things going on in your life and you decide to film it and put it out there in the public, it's just like I didn't like that, because in that situation, yes, clearly you're in a bad shape. She's in bad shape. At that point, I think it would be more believable that the camera goes down. That's it. And then he could have explained to Carol what happened, but he showed it. I would look at this guy and say, this guy is crazy. I don't want to even go near him after that.
They could have done another route. Is he could have had other people there. Obviously, there was a whole bunch of people protesting, and they could have had where he dropped the camera and runs over, and somebody picks it up and starts screaming, "You see what they did? They bombed. You see? Look at the," and they start filming him, and he's screaming, "Oh, Maria, Maria." They could have had that, but that would have worked as well. Could have went through that whole thing, or we just have a Blair Witch style. Remember that when the guy drops and then the camera automatically just like hovers up and starts going through the rooms and finds a guy pointing at the wall. Remember, just staring at the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, well, whatever. But anyway, the point is, something about it didn't feel right. Right? That's what we pretty much. It didn't feel right with that. But this is the thing. Okay, that's horrible. But then Antonio was saying, well, this is the secret. I didn't tell my son this. I didn't tell him how the mom died. And the mayor knows how the Maria died and said that if he ever leaves, he would tell Roberto the truth. But then Roberto, like I said, he was doing squats and stuff. He's getting better. He walks in and he sees this. And he goes, leaving room. It's like, oh, no, now he knows. If this is the reason why he didn't want to leave, because he was worried about the mayor saying, when you leave, there's no cell phones. Okay, we've already gone through this. If you leave, you're gone. But how is the mayor going to? How is the mayor then going? What, he's going to send a pigeon? It's to land on Roberto's shoulder. Oh, look, a pigeon. Oh, with a little note. Your dad sent your mom to a car. Oh my God, that was you, Dad? No, come on, man. That's why I don't want to believe that. I don't want to believe that the reason why he's saying is because he didn't want the mayor to tell Roberto how his mom really died. That doesn't. If that's the case, then why the hell are you holding on to this footage? Destroy this footage, because then it's just your word against the mayor, and the son is gonna most likely listen to the father, right? So that I'm not buying that. I really hope that's not the case. Really hope so. So let's just hope that's not it. So we get the King of Spain. He arrives with his soldiers at this other town. Right? They're getting ready. They open up the gates. They go in. He's got his motorcade type setup with the guys on the motorcycles with helmets, and they go through. And Rich, you brought it up. This is one of those things we're very familiar with this, both of you guys, especially from comic Fear the Walking Dead. Infamous with all of this. Big scenes happening off camera. Now, is this, we could argue, is this a big scene that they took out, or this woman took out one of the bikers? Maybe, maybe not. But the biker that she did take out then was in front of the caravan, not in the back. If it was in the back, okay, the guy could have pulled over, fix his bike or something, and then you knock him, you choke him out, whatever. But this biker that she replaced was in front of the caravan. How the hell did you pull that off? But she goes, she makes a signal, hey, look, I did it, and then Daryl and everyone sees, and all hell breaks loose. But right off the bat, what did you think of that? Did that make sense? Right? I think that's what we all said. Like, how the hell did she pull this off?
Well, I mean, they were planning it, and they got Daryl on their side, which
yeah, planning and having Daryl, but we didn't see that take place. It would have been cool, real quick, real subtle, to see the two biker front parts of the entourage just like working on their bikes in the corner when he said we're gonna have to take them out, individually or something like that. Okay, that makes sense. You're gonna go take these two out, replace them, move on. There you go. But they didn't. But anyway, here nor there, it doesn't matter.
They skipped the stuff that was probably skippable.
Yeah,
the
only issue I had was that it was a biker that was in front of the caravan. It makes more sense if someone in behind, but then how did you get away with it in the front? It's everybody could see it. They could see this, whatever. But it's an all-out war. Right? They got shooting, a lot of shooting. Everyone's freaking out. All this stuff. You got the king there with his wife, which is Cowgirl's girlfriend, in the car. They're panicking. Well, not so much. The king is panicking. She's not. She's just, I don't know if it's just her acting or it doesn't seem like she really cares. If she really wanted out, this is the best chance. She could have just opened up the passenger side, just taken off or done something. She doesn't. Daryl sneaks up behind the the prison car there that had Justina and the other girl that lost in the pig race, and now they're in there, and we're like, okay, this will be easy, right? He's gonna go, he's bashing this lock. This must be a master lock 3000 or something, because we have a lot going on here. We see that the refugee leader of the group that was there, she winds up getting shot. Then she gets eaten by walkers because she used a bazooka, right, to shoot the car in the front, but it misses and it like opens up a gate and all these walkers. That didn't work out, but we still see Daryl trying to break this lock. He tries to break it, doesn't work. I think it was Justina that brought up, it's like the guard has the keys. I was like, oh, okay. And he's trying every key. Cowgirl's covering him. That they got guard, they got walkers. Cowgirl looks at the car in the front. She could see the king. She could see her girlfriend. The girlfriend just staring at her. They make eye contact. You would think at that point, that's when the girlfriend opens up the door and makes a run for it. No, she doesn't. This is what I'm saying, people. She likes her life. She does not. And don't tell me like, oh, we said before, oh, she leads a hard life. They're about to kill this king right now. If she goes running out, I don't know if the guards chase her, but if he does, then there's no one driving the car. A lot could have happened, but she doesn't want to leave. The keys aren't working. Then he takes his gun, starts shooting at it. Good thing he's a good shot, because if he would have missed the bars, it would have shot Justina or the other girl in the leg or in the gut. Then they died. Then they turn. Then they eat the other one. It would have been real messy. So that doesn't happen. And it's sad because then they're driving off. It was a fail. This was a fail. How did you feel about this, Carlos?
It was an epic fail. I mean, here's one of the things that I noticed, and they put on they made it seem like they were in control. Like they had the upper hand. I'm talking about Daryl and the crew. So I was surprised, instead of trying to, take everyone, because they were locked down. The gate was closed. They were trapped essentially. So all they had to do was wait them out and take them one by one. But then Bazooka Girl came out of nowhere. Is like, let me shoot a bazooka instead, and just blow everything up. I don't understand why saving the first lady, I don't know what to call her, but the first lady that they're trying to rescue, the cowgirl's
princess. She's just
Princess Peach. I don't understand why that wasn't part of the itinerary for this group's rescue plan.
They were going to blow her up.
Yeah, they were pretty much going to blow her up. I understand one of the priorities was to get rid of the king, the future king, but they had the upper hand. They had the people. They were taking it, and Daryl. I'm disappointed in Daryl. Oh, go ahead, Rich.
Well, let me just jump in here real quick. I agree. The plan was an epic fail. We knew there were going to be casualties because they said multiple times we will be outnumbered. And then, of course, when that bazooka went off, and I already knew, okay, here come the walkers. Okay, there will be even more people getting taken out at that point. But there's one critique I do have, and this is just my opinion. I might be the only one that has this critique. Obviously, Daryl, the whole plan was that they were trying to get Justina back, okay? And they had the scene where Daryl goes up and he didn't want to let go. He's holding her hand, trying to get her free. My critique is that, and it's just my opinion, I don't really think that Daryl has that deep of a connection with Justina. The one who has a deeper connection is Carol. So for him to care that much about that character and trying to save that character, it didn't make sense to me. Now, if this was Roberto that was the one that was the captive, that makes sense. They had a whole episode where these guys spent time together. So that was my critique, because I'm like, he don't care that much about this character. Obviously, he cares about Roberto, making him happy. But that's where I was like, okay, why would he care that much about Justina? I didn't really understand that.
Yeah, I think it's more of it's a mission. I think that's all it really is. Yeah. Like, he likes to get things done. We just saw in the last episode with getting the water back. It's the same thing. It's like, this whole thing is to get her back. Yeah. She's so close. So he can touch her. That's that type of thing. It's like, look, I'm holding your hand. I can do this. And I screwed up. And
And maybe that's the whole point of the flashbacks, where it's like, it's sort of he's looking back, digging deep into his past about his failures, and maybe the failure of his family,
if he was
his
there for his
brother.
brother, but he was the little brother. It's not like he was the older brother. That you hear a lot of that with older brothers. I should have protected my younger one, my sibling. I should have been there. I left.
Romero was a special case.
He was a special case. But you know what I was expecting? That at this point, when Daryl realized that he couldn't open up this lock, that he would just run around to the front and shoot the driver and then say, you know what, we're just taking the truck. That's it. But he doesn't do that. No one does. There's all this shooting going on in Walkers, and no one thinks to shoot the driver. I don't get that.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things, and it happens a lot in these Walking Dead shows. The logistics of the things where it doesn't make sense why they take one plan instead of the other one. Because yeah, you're right. All Daryl had to do was shoot the driver, because apparently they were just chilling in the cut.
Yeah. They were just there. They were just waiting it out. They're like, all right, we'll wait for this car to move in front of us. We can't swerve around it for some reason. I don't get that, but
they could have easily just done that. Maybe the excuse is that it's bulletproof or whatever, but
nope.
I mean,
think about this is the apocalypse, and we just saw somebody use a bazooka. Where'd you get the bazooka? We get making bullets. Eugene used to do it all the time, but can he make a bazooka?
It's a Resident Evil storyline,
Oh, Resident Evil. Okay, there we go. It makes sense. It just pops up just like gas cans. It's just like boop, boop, boop. You need it. It's just there. It's just it. Jumanji. Jumanji. All right. So then we get back. We're back with Carol, Roberto, Antonio. Roberto's in the car. This is the plan, right? He's still sick. Kind of sick. I'm not too sure, because we saw him standing and walking before and doing all that stuff. But anyway, he's in the back, right? They put some stuff over him. It's covering him up. She is going to bring him with her to the lighthouse. And she wants Antonio to go. Antonio's like, no, I stay here. I got to do all this stuff. And then she, out of all people, so you have to live. This is about living and this and that. Look at you over here coming up with all this stuff. Now, she was making little facial gestures because he was like, oh, there's something else. Says, well, then tell me now. Like, she's hinting that she wants something out of this. She wants to give him a kiss or something. And they did the dance back and forth, whether it's going to happen or it's not. But then he's like, forget it. I have to show you. I'll tell you. And he grabs her face, gives her a kiss, backs off. She kisses him back. You're like, ta-da. I'm sure some people were clapping. Finally, somewhere, Valentina is like, oh, she's tasting the wine, and they're doing that whole thing. But that's it, right? He's supposed to just hold the fort down. He'll figure something out so she can get out of here. And I don't know. I was expecting a little more with this scene, because as we know, she goes to get out of the town. There's some guards. No surprise. She's like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Time for me to go. Mayor said I can leave. He didn't want me here anyway. It's like, and then the mayor just shows up. Hey, yeah, but we need to check the car. Make sure you're not, stealing or whatever it is. So they look around and they see the solar panel, and it's like, oh, what's this? Oh, Antonio gave that. Oh, that very nice. Antonio is such a generous guy, but he can't be giving this type of stuff away. It's all right. You can't take this. And then she's getting ready. Everyone's getting ready. Oh, they're gonna move that and see Roberto, but Antonio shows up. Then break out the subtitles. Basically calls him out. You tried to poison my son. Tells everybody, screams it out. People in the town, you see them come from the balcony, and I was like, yeah, he's horrible. He's doing all this horrible stuff. He's not a good guy. And whole big thing, and he doesn't want to believe it. No one's believing. I don't see people reacting. I was expecting more people to come down and start screaming at the mayor, but that doesn't happen. And everyone just stands there and takes it. And then Antonio was like, you know what? That's it. So Carol, go. Get the step and get the car, move, just leave. And no one says anything. I thought at this point, mayor was like, no, who are you? I'm the mayor. I say no. right? I thought there was going to be a fight, something happened here, and then Antonio gets shot, right? And that's when maybe Carol then puts the pedal to the metal and breaks through the gate and then just drives off. But no, it doesn't happen that way. It's like Antonio says, now you can go, and she drives off, and that's the last we see of them. Did that make sense? Anticlimactic, right? And not a big surprise. We were expecting something to happen here, and it didn't.
Well, we got the kiss, which is all that
I
matters.
guess, yeah, okay, right. We got the kiss.
But yeah, I mean, we've gone through so much action. I didn't really expect the last section of this to really be this big, spectacle. So I understood where they're coming from. So I didn't have that big of an issue. They went to the what's it called, the mayor, and Carol got out. She almost took out her gun. So she's still packing heat. So shout out there.
Yeah, they have to save some stuff for next week because that's the finale. So they want you to be interested to see. So what's going to happen next between these two characters? What's going to happen with Daryl? Is he going to finally find a way to save Justina? Yeah, they want you to be concerned about all that. That was
yeah. I mean, we got someone. Speaking of Daryl, right? He's with Cowgirl and some of the other rebel guys there. Khalip, that was his name, right? He's still alive. We thought he was gonna die. He didn't die. Somebody says, "Hey, here's a rifle to Daryl," and I was waiting for him once he grabbed it to chuck it. I'm like, "Oh, who's with the crossbow?" Because I could have swore I saw somebody die with a crossbow. But no one hands him a crossbow. That's an epic fail. Somebody should have just handed him a crossbow, or the girl that had the crossbow. I was like, "Hey, here, take it for the road." Yeah, right. Then some people at home started clapping, like, "Yeah, he gets his crossbow back." No, it doesn't happen. But his bike is okay, and Cowgirl's car is all right. And they're going on what's the town? Alcazar or something like that. I think that's it.
Alcázar.
Right, that's where they're going. I was like, all right, that's the next stop. Let's get over there. She's like, all right, that's it. And then they head out. That's their
the Alcázar is the group of people that are, the kingdom, where those are the people. Yeah. I don't actually remember where they were heading after that.
Well, we don't know, because originally the king was going to this town to do another pig race. So if this is this assassination attempt, does that put the whole tour on hold? Do they just go home, or they say, all right, let's go to the next town? We got to make our rounds. We got to do the pig race. That was a little mishap there. Don't worry, things will be better at the next town. I don't know. Or they're just going to try to hunt them down on the road. That's what I'm thinking. Mad Max style. Like, let's just catch them and then just guns a-blazing. Or, shoot, why didn't I think about this? And I'm sure somebody who's watching this or watch the episode, let's say Daryl can't shoot or get into the driver's seat. Obviously, he didn't do that with the truck. Shoot the tires. Shoot the tires out. Then it won't move. It'll just like go rolling on the rims and eventually stop. Whatever. All right. But then we think it's over, and it's not. Right? We get this flashback. We get one more flashback with Antonio. Right, Antonio, and we see the bombing, and we see the wife, and we see one final part. And this is why I'm thinking maybe this is the full story. And it's right after the whole bombing, he goes up to Maria. Her face is intact. It really shouldn't be. She was very close to the car. That should be at least glass. It should look a mess. It should be a mess, but it's not. And while this is happening, I guess this is also the day one of the fall here in Spain, right? Because he's in shock. We start seeing the dead from the explosion start getting up. And there you go, Walking Dead. And sure, we were all saying, oh, Maria's going to do it. And yep, our eyes rolling back, whole thing. She turns into a walker. And oh, no, she was a walker. We don't see Antonio kill her, though. And so that's why I'm thinking maybe this is the other part of it. He brings her back. He doesn't know. I mean, at this point, this is day one of the fall. You don't know. She could just be sick. It could be a bad case of rabies or bad chicken meat or something. Who knows what it is? So I'm thinking maybe he he brought her back to the house. But then again, with all the snarling and all that stuff, how do you keep that as a secret from Roberto for all these years? I don't buy that. I don't buy that. He must have put her down. But still, it's sad to see that she did turn. So it wasn't so much of like, oh, we can bury her. It's like, oh no, she turned. And that was it. Because what's the other reason to show that? Why do we need to know that she turned into a walker? What does it do for the story? Huh, Rich? What does that do?
Yeah, I would say it has to be the point that you made about they're going to reveal something about he did save her. But in that case, then he lied to his son twice. He lied about what happened to his mom, and then he lied, oh yeah, but she's still around. She's just no longer your mom. Now she's a walker. So I don't know where they're going with that. I guess we have to wait to find out for the finale.
What about you, Carl? Do you think anything special about that? Because that's a big question here. They show this almost like we need to see this hidden footage, this final footage here.
The director's cut?
This is the director's cut. Definitely director's cut. To see Maria turn into a walker. But we don't see him put her down. That would have made more sense, because then it's like, oh, now that's the guilt, right? Is that not only did she die, he put her in that situation that caused her to die, but then he had to kill her. So he killed her twice in under 20 minutes. That's rough. That's rough. That's rough. I mean, killing one person once. Right? So there we go.
Yeah,
but
I don't know if it's gonna be something that prolongs past this. It could be, like there really is no need for them to show Antonio killing his wife after she turned into a walker. I feel like that's not necessary. But who knows?
Who knows is right. You know who knows? The producers know, and those who have already watched this final episode, because hopefully that gets revealed, and we will be back for that next week. The finale, the big one. Tell your friend, your grandma, your next door neighbor. Tell everybody to tune in to AMC Plus. Watch the episode, come back here to the Koalition, then you click the like, you sub, then you share this with all those same strangers I just told you about, and then we all discuss and we talk about how great this show is, and that it's great that they're in Spain, and Daryl is still Daryl. He hasn't changed. Carol has gone through multiple versions of Carol. We're not fond of this one, but we'll see what happens. Big questions, a lot of questions. Does Antonio survive? Does Antonio and Roberto also go with Carol and Daryl to the boat? Is there even a boat? Daryl's nowhere near the boat right now. So I'm throwing out the Gilligan Island boat thing. I don't think that there's no tour happening. It's not happening with this boat unless at wherever they're going, Daryl and Cowgirl, they find another boat, a better boat, one that doesn't need fixing. And they say, all right, she's not only good with the being a tour guide, but she's also good with the coastline, and then she can help navigate him across back to that area where the lighthouse is. Then while they're in the lighthouse, they can see all the boats. They see it. They get in a little dinghy, get on it, and then off they go sailing to America. That's what I'm thinking, because it doesn't make sense at this point. Especially where Daryl's on his adventure. He's not there fixing this boat. They're not going to have time to fix this boat and then get away once the mayor and his guys get together and decide, wait a minute, we just realized Roberto's not here. He's with Carol over they're going to go and try to get him back, right? Just out of spite, because really, he wanted him to die anyway. What does he care? That's the other issue I had with this. It's like, well, why do you care? If he's leaving with Carol or not? Well, you wanted to kill him anyway, right? So whatever. But hey, we'll see, just like everybody else. So thanks again for sticking with us. Keep following us, and we will be back next week for the finale of season 3 of Daryl Dixon. Peace.